first of all, I just want to show you who's holding my phone whenever I do the comics commute. He just bends in that way, holds onto it. Welcome to Comics with Dan. This is the comics commute. I'm on my way home on Wednesday. So, since we last talked, I've read it's mostly been New Warrior stuff. And so the reason for that is that I have a video I'm working on, a character profile for Night Thrasher, which I'm really excited about. And I think it's going to turn out really well. And I'm actually really excited because I was able to get email Fabian Nicesia. I should probably work on the pronunciation of his name. I was able to email him, and he answered a handful of questions about Night Thrasher, which I was really excited that he took the time to do that. So keep an eye out for that one. I'll talk a little bit about New Warriors today, and I also read Batman Haunted Knight, and I read Transformers #5, which was awesome as usual. And I read The Displaced #1 and Justice Ducks #1. So I already reviewed The Displaced, so you can check that video out on my channel. I thought it was really great. So I'll be talking about sort of the other things here. So the New Warriors, the Night Thrasher profile was suggested by Ace Wayne on the League of Comic Geeks, but I wanted to really, immerse myself in that world and learn a lot about Night Thrasher, and that's the best place to start. And it turns out that the New Warriors is actually just a really good book in general. All the characters, with the exception of Night Thrasher, are characters that had appeared previously in Marvel Comics. There's Namorita, the Submariner's cousin, I think it is. There's Marvel Boy, who is a telekinetic, I believe is the word for it. There is Nova, a good old Rich Rider. And then there's Firestar as well, in addition. Oh, and then there's also Speedball. He does remind me quite a bit of Impulse, though, to be honest. I think that he came first, though. So the New Warriors, they started out in an issue of Thor, the Eric Masterson version of Thor, which is another character profile that I'm hoping to do. Is on Thunderstrike, but they the teamwork that they put together is really cool. The personalities on the team are great. They really work well together. There are a handful of issues that are a little more of a drag than others, but when you get to sort of the folding circle stuff, where Night Thrasher's learning about his past and things like that, it really heats up. And then there's the Marvel Boy trial, which has some cool guest appearances in it. I won't spoil too much because I think you guys should definitely check out the New Warriors. So the next thing I read was Batman Haunted Knight, which is a collection of Halloween stories from Batman Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween special, which it looks like they did 3 years, 93, 94, and 95. And I believe that the names of the stories were called Chances something and Ghosts. When I edit this video, I'll put the names of the stories over the top. But the first one was a story about the Scarecrow, and to be honest, all 3 of these stories were not super heavily plot driven, which isn't completely out of the question for Jeff Loeb. Oh, I should probably preface with the fact that these are special Halloween specials written by Jeff Loeb and illustrated by Tim Sale, the legendary team that brought us The Long Halloween and Dark Victory, which to me, The Long Halloween is the top of Batman books. It's the absolute best. So if you're a fan of that, definitely check this out. But anyway, so the plot isn't really what drives Loeb in I would say a good bit of his work, but rather looking at the characters and reflecting. And so the first story has to do with Batman facing Scarecrow and whether or not he needs to be Batman anymore, which is something that's definitely not a new premise, but certainly one that can be exciting whenever explored properly. The second one, we see a young Barbara Gordon, which is cool. She's far from being the Batgirl age, and he faces off against the Mad Hatter. A pretty great story there. And then the last one, which was called Ghosts, is definitely my favorite of the three. It's a Christmas Carol sort of remake where essentially the ghosts in this case are three of Batman's villains, and they walk him through whether or not being Batman is actually good for him, or whether it's actually been a good thing that he's Batman. Obviously, it goes without saying that the art in these books are just absolutely spectacular. Tim Sale is one of the best to ever do it. So that was it was an easy 4.5 out of 5. I didn't feel right giving it 5 just because it's not quite at the level of The Long Halloween. I also read Justice Ducks #1, which was pretty decent. I truthfully am a little disappointed that we're pivoting from a Darkwing Duck series to Justice Ducks, just because I feel like none of the other characters in the Justice Ducks are, compelling enough. I was kind of happy with Darkwing and Launchpad, Gosselin, with the occasional Morgana appearance, just keeping things like that. But overall, it wasn't bad. I enjoyed the story. It was well done. I don't know if I'll pick up #2 or not. I'll just kind of have to play it by ear, I guess. But that one was pretty decent. Transformers #5. Daniel Warren Johnson crushes it every single time he writes and or illustrates a book. This Transformers series is fantastic. For me, it's right up there with World's Finest as the best book out there right now. I thought for sure we were going to get to see Megatron this issue, because the solicit said that, and so let me preface this with, if you don't want any spoilers, then fast forward past this.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
The solicit said that Starscream revived a dangerous Decepticon or something like that, and so I assumed that with Megatron's cannon on the front, arm cannon on the front, and that being the solicit, that we were going to get to see Megatron. But it turns out it was Devastator, which also very cool. I think that the it's disappointing that the end of DWJ's art is next issue. I'm glad that he's going to keep writing it, because I think that his take on Optimus Prime is just fantastic. Just the hopefulness and how positive but yet powerful Optimus Prime is just, he hits it spot on. and then at the same time taking Starscream and making him just an absolute maniac. Because I remember, if I was watching the old 80s cartoon with my kids, and Starscream, for the most part, just like whines. He whines a lot to Megatron. He wants to be in charge. He throws tantrums. He's basically a child. Whereas DWJ has him as just this absolute madman. And he obviously gets very triggered by anyone even mentioning Megatron. I'm really excited to not only see Megatron, but then see how the two of them interact. I think it's going to be fantastic. Jorge Corona is coming on art after issue 6, so I think starting issue number 7. And I think that he'll slide in just perfectly in the spot. So if you haven't already been reading Transformers, please go pick it up right now. I think that's everything really that I read. I started reading a book, 21 Down, which is written by Jimmy Palmiotti, I think is how you say the name. And it's an old Wildstorm book. I found it pretty cheap at Ollie's, and so far it's been pretty good. I'll probably be able to update everyone on that one next week. On my way home, I'm going to stop at my local comic store and pick up my pulls, which this week are Batman Superman World's Finest number 24 or 25. I forget which one it is this week. And again, when I edit this video, I will put that up. And then on also Nightwing 111, I believe. So I'm excited. I didn't want to really follow Beast World that much, so although all the reviews for it have been pretty good, so I might have to go back and check it out. But I'm excited to get to the Fallen Grayson arc. Camera fell down. I'm excited to get to the Fallen Grayson arc and kind of see what that's all about. So this is kind of the road to that. See why Nightwing's afraid of heights for some reason, which I think is a cool concept. So that's all I have. Thanks for excusing the technical difficulties and me mispronouncing names and forgetting half of the information that I'll be editing back in. If you like the content that you see, please subscribe, like the video, share the video. I really just, again, and I say this every time, but I just like to be able to talk to comics with more technical difficulties. I just like being able to talk comics with people, to people. So please, like, subscribe, all that happy stuff. Thanks for watching.